Seacology began working in the Dominican Republic last year. Our first 3 projects there are promoting ecotourism and protecting some of the country's most important mangrove forests. At Monte Cristi province, we're funding a project to train local youth to work as kayak tour operators. They will also learn basic business skills like accounting and customer service. This will both foster appreciation for the environment and provide an alternative source of income to members of the fishing community, relieving pressure on local fisheries. Our project at Oviedo Lagoon also focuses on ecotourism. Our grant is funding improvements to a visitor center, training for local guides, and upgrades to the small boats used for tours. In exchange, our partners will patrol the lagoon to discourage poaching and other harmful activities, and conduct regular cleanups. Our third project in the Dominican Republic is in the community of Las Garritas on Samana Bay, an area with the highest concentration of mangrove habitat in the country. Unfortunately, the area is close to major developments and at risk from construction, chemical runoff, cutting mangroves for charcoal, and other threats. We're helping the community by funding a boardwalk through the mangroves for birdwatching and other tourist activities, as well as education for local guides. On remote Providencia Island in the Western Caribbean, we're working with the local fishing community to promote the conservation of parrotfish. These beautiful fish are critical to the survival of the island's coral reefs. To raise money for the project, we tried crowdfunding for the first time. We were delighted to surpass our $16,000 goal and bring lots of attention to the threatened parrotfish. Working with the Irish Peatland Conservation Council, Seacology funded the restoration of Lodge Bog in County Kildare, just west of Dublin. This was our first peat bog project and our first project in Ireland. Like mangroves and rainforests, these bogs are remarkably effective carbon sinks, trapping large amounts of atmospheric carbon in the ground. Lodge Bog is also an important nesting ground for the Eurasian curlew, a migratory bird whose populations in Ireland have plummeted in recent years as its habitat has shrunk. On the northern coast of Java, the community of Pantai Bahagia is home to several endangered species and a tranquil life of rice farming. Unfortunately, its watershed is contaminated by industrial waste, and many of its coastal wetlands were cleared to make room for fish and shrimp ponds, now abandoned. As a result, the village is plagued by erosion and flooding, and its people must buy clean water for themselves and their livestock from neighboring communities. Working with Seacology, the village is protecting its remaining 50 acres of mangroves and will replant an additional 200 acres. In exchange, we're funding water storage tanks and a community center, which will also serve as a school for local conservationists. Deep in the forests of Malaysian Borneo, Seacology is funding a sustainable micro-hydropower system for the village of Long Liam. Our community partners there have demonstrated a strong commitment to protecting their land, banding together to defeat plans for a huge and destructive dam on a local river. They have pledged to actively protect a 371-acre forest, home to countless species. They recently began installing their new generator, which will provide a clean alternative to the diesel ones the village currently relies on. Nabubu lies on the northern coast of Vanua, Levu, Fiji's second largest island. We're working there to protect nearly 700 acres of both marine and forest habitat. The marine area stretches from the coast to the Great Sea Reef, Fiji's largest barrier reef and the third longest in the world. The new forest reserve contains many species of native hardwood trees and dozens of bird species. In exchange for this conservation, we're funding renovation of the village's school and teachers' quarters. Our grant will retrofit the deteriorating building and supply new blackboards, desks, bookcases, and other classroom needs, as well as provide water storage tanks for the village. This project is supported by our affiliate, Seacology Japan. Childhood obesity and its related complications are an increasingly serious public health concern on many Pacific islands. That's why the community of Ailinglaplap in the Marshall Islands requested Seacology funding to build a basketball court for local youth. It features solar-powered lights so it can be used after sunset when the intense tropical heat abates. In exchange, the community has set aside a 121-acre, no-take marine reserve for 10 years. The area is home to an array of abundant sea life, including the endangered Napoleon wrasse, dolphins, sea turtles, and more. Way back in 2010, Seacology funded the construction of a small medical clinic for the remote village of Tavolo, much needed since the closest clinic was more than a day's walk away through rugged terrain. The building was finished quickly, but the project faced years of setbacks as the village struggled to secure a clinician to staff it. Finally, after persistent lobbying, Papua New Guinea's government appointed a permanent health worker. More than 600 people from the area celebrated their victory at an opening ceremony in April. All this time, the community remained true to the conservation agreement made nearly a decade ago, a testament to their integrity and commitment to safeguarding their precious resources. The 988-acre marine reserve remains well guarded, and a marine biologist who recently dove in the area reports that the coral reef there is in excellent condition and teeming with life.